and I've got something to talk to you about today. And I went off to the shops this morning to buy some bread and milk because we were running a little bit low. And I went down an aisle that was filled with Easter eggs. Lots of different types of Easter eggs, some big bunnies, some little chickens, lots and lots of eggs. Now, I don't know what Easter eggs have to do with Easter time, but let's start with the story, shall we? If we open one of these little eggs, which I'm sure you've had before, these are lovely little chocolate eggs. And if you look at that, that really looks like a little stone, doesn't it? Looks like a rock. And in the Easter story, there is a rock. There is a rock that took a very, very special part in the story. But before I get onto that, I want to show you what else I bought. I bought another egg. Whoa, look at this one. Wow, look at this egg. This is an amazing egg. Isn't that nice? Imagine if you got one of those on Easter morning. Wouldn't that be great? Well, what is inside these eggs? Do you know what's inside them? I tell you what, they're empty usually, but this egg of mine is not empty. And let me show you my egg. Let me, give it a break. Oh, there we go, there we go. Oh, lovely, lovely, yummy chocolate. Now, the first thing I want to show you, inside this egg, there's a little piece of bread. And this is part of the Easter story. Jesus went with his disciples into the upper room and they broke bread. And he gave thanks and he said, "This is my body that is broken for you." And then he took the wine and he said, "This is my blood which was shed for you." And he knew that he was going to have to die to save them from their sins. Well, Jesus said to his disciples, one of you is going to betray me. And Peter said, "No, never, I will never betray you." And Jesus said, "Before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. And this little feather reminds me of the cock crowing. Well, what else have I got in this egg? Oh, look, I've got a coin. Now, the coin is also part of the story because Judas went off and he got hold of the leaders of the synagogues and they said, "We'll pay you 30 pieces of silver if you betray Jesus." And Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane and he said to his disciples, "Pray with me, pray with me." But his disciples, they were very tired and they fell asleep. And he went back, he said, "Please, you must pray with me. I need you to pray." And later on, Judas came with those Sanhedrin and the soldiers and they arrested Jesus. And they took Jesus off and they said he called himself the King of the Jews. And they put a purple robe on him and they beat him and they took a crown of thorns and they put a crown of thorns on his head. Well, that was very sad. They took him up to a hill called Golgotha, and there they took some nails and they nailed him to a cross. And there he died on the cross for our sins, for all of us. Well, the Roman soldiers were sitting at the bottom of the cross, and they decided they liked his robe, and they decided that they were going to cast lots for his robe. Let me just find this in here. Here we go. And it's like they cast dice for his robe. Well, one of the soldiers took a sponge and dipped it in some vinegar and took it up to his face, but he didn't want to drink that bitter liquid. And then Jesus said, "It's finished. It's finished." And when he had died, Joseph of Arimathea took him and wrapped him up in burial cloths and put him in the tomb that he had cut out of stone. And when he had done that, he rolled a stone in front of the tomb and closed it off. Well, after 3 days, Jesus' mother and the friends came to get his body ready. And when they got there, the stone had rolled away. An angel had moved it. And Jesus had risen from the dead. And the cloth that was round him had been folded up and laid neatly down. The tomb was empty. Jesus had risen. You see, just like that empty egg is the empty tomb. Jesus has risen. He's no longer there. He's risen from the dead. Now you can invite him to come into your life and to remove your sin, wash your sin away, and we can be filled. Not like the empty tomb, but our hearts can be filled with Jesus. You need to just ask him to come into your life.